Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is the second video in this series. We're taking the local newsletter Next in SF, based in San Francisco, and looking at exclusive private events. I'm breaking this down in detail over the next few videos so you can learn how to grow a local newsletter, how to monetize it, how to write it with AI so it's taking you very little time. So we already went through the basics of this newsletter. I talked through all of the sort of stats about it, and we looked at how it was making money through affiliate links. But what I want to do now is I actually want to sign up for this, and I want to take you through the sign up flow that they've got. And as I do, I'm going to give you ideas of ways you could be making money that they're not. And also, if they're doing anything excellent, I'm going to tell you about it and tell you that you should be doing these things for your local newsletter. So if you started already, you might want to add these things into your local newsletter. If you haven't done these things yet, or you haven't started your local newsletter, you can put them into action straight away. So I'm going to put my email address in here, and then we'll see what what happens as we go through. And I'm just going to pause because that dog outside is barking, and it's just going to irritate me for the rest of the video. So I'm going to pause, shut the window, and into my email, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've just popped in my email and shut the window, and they're using Sparkloop, which I quite like. Now, I've changed my opinion on Boost and Beehive and Sparkloop. So in the last video, I mentioned the fact that this newsletter is built on Beehive, and that's the email service provider, the ESP, that it's run on. Now, you can use Beehive for free and run your local newsletter on Beehive completely for free, but something they do have is Boost. And this is Sparkloop, which is a different company, but they work the same way as Boost, and you get this pop-up. And what this does is basically suggest other newsletters. And if I subscribe for any of these newsletters, then the newsletter that suggested them, which is the San Francisco one we're taking a look at, will get some money. It's normally $1, roughly, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It depends on the newsletter. And I was never really a fan of this. I used to say, well, you're a local newsletter, and this one's about founders. This one's about AI tools. This one here is about 5 cool things that are happening in the Reading area. I know Reading's in the UK. That might be somewhere else that, states might have a Reading. This one is, what is this about? AI, longevity, robotics. So I used to say to people, you know what? Don't do it. It's not worth your time. However, I've changed my mind a little bit on this, in that if you can find the right newsletters to promote to people, then this can cover your cost of signing up for Beehive or whichever other ESP you want to use, email service provider. Now, I like Beehive. I recommend Beehive to people for lots of reasons, and I can do a video on that if you want. Just put Beehive into the comments. There is another tool I recommend as well, and I could talk about both of those. But Beehive is one of the ones that I recommend. Beehive's going to cost you. So if you use the link down in the description, what's going to happen is you're going to sign up for Beehive. You get a 30-day free trial of all their paid stuff. And then if you don't want to use it anymore, you just go on the free plan. That's fine after 30 days. But what will happen with that link is if you want to keep paying for it and get access to this feature where you can recommend other newsletters, then you're going to pay for that. Okay, so I can't remember roughly how much it is because it changes depending on how big your list is, but let's call it $30 for the sake of arguments. What you need to do to cover that cost with this particular tool is just get 30 people to opt into these newsletters. So if you can make them newsletters that people who read your newsletter will be interested in. So this is a newsletter for San Francisco, people who are into exclusive events, i.e. they've got a bit of money. So if I could find something that was maybe luxury or something about nice cars or things you would, associate with people with lots of money, or news, then as long as I get 30 people to sign up, and it might be that one person signs up to all of these, and then other people only sign up to one, then if I'm getting $1 per sign up, I've covered the cost of my newsletter. So not necessarily something that you want to do all the time, but definitely something worth exploring in order to establish something called negative CAC, which is basically negative cost per acquisition. So you're paying $1 for a subscriber, but you're getting your dollar back. In this case, we're covering the cost of the email service provider. But yeah, like I said, you can use Sparkloop, you can use Beehive. It's completely up to you. But that's how it works. But it's not a perfect solution. But if you can find the right newsletters for the people who sign up to your newsletter, then it could make you some money. It might not be something you want to do from day one. You might want to wait until you've got a little bit of an audience. But that's how Sparkloop works. I should say as well, if you want the discount I mentioned on Beehive, you've got to use the link in the description. If you just Google Beehive, then you won't get access to the deal, which is the 30 days free trial of the pay plan, and then after that you get the 20% off for the first few months if you decide to stick with the pay plan. Otherwise, you just go back on the free. So I'm going to say no, I want to miss out. I don't want to sign up for any of those newsletters. Then we've gone into the survey. So this is another paid feature on Beehive. So if you want to have a survey, do it on Beehive. Now, surveys are interesting. Definitely worth doing because you can segment your audience. So I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a tech event going on in San Francisco and they want to advertise in your newsletter. This newsletter is 9,000 on the list. They want to advertise. If they advertise to everyone, okay. But if you've already asked questions and you found out that 30% of your audience work in tech, then you can just send that ad to the people that work in tech, and that's going to improve your data on the back end, and the advertiser's going to get better quality leads. But on top of that, you can approach the right kind of advertisers beforehand. You can say to them, look, I don't know, 60% of my audience own a boat. So you can go to, people that are boat builders or luxury yacht rentals or whatever you want to do. And you can go to that company and say, look, 60% of my audience own a yacht. You should really get in front of them and they'll be more likely to pay you ads. So you go through this and you just click what you are, answering all of these questions. So let's just answer a few of these. Let's go for freelancer. Let's go for yes, own a home. And you can see it looks like it's only going to be 4 questions. I like this one, what offer. So if you've got a particular service that gets more votes, this might be people that are wanting to advertise or you want to work with. These are nice high ticket services as well. So, advertisers are going to be happy to pay a little bit more for advertising because they only need to get 1 or 2 people to sign up and they've made their money back. So let's go for bathroom and do own a car. So it looks like 5, nearly. No. And the other thing with this information is as you're signing up, you might actually get some offers. And lo and behold, nice. Okay, so I really like this. This is clever. So here's personalized results. So based on the survey, we are getting offers. Okay, so instead of putting big ads into the newsletter, we are getting offers. So here we have got upgrade on your bathroom at the lowest rate. If I click on this, it could go through to a business. It could go through to a lead gen website. So one of those websites where you put in your details and you get sent loads and loads of offers. And it says compare quotes. So that looks like what it is. So let's just click over, see what happens. Yeah, so I would fill this in basically, and then I would get sent some quotes. And what's going to happen is the person running the newsletter is going to get some kind of financial kickback. So they're going to get like a little bit of affiliate commission because basically this website has got a lead. So that's quite good. I like what they're doing there. Best credit cards, same idea. See if you are pre-approved. If I fill out my information, then the person running the San Francisco newsletter is going to get a kickback from them. And then we've got this one here. Let's just see if that's the same. So it would be quite nice if these were actual local businesses that people would recognize. They've seen their advertising around, or they're based in a particular area, so people sort of connect with it a little bit more. So let's see what this one's like. I don't think it's loaded properly, but let me just check. Yeah, so that one hasn't worked for some reason. It's just gone through to an error message. But yeah, connect instantly with top-rated Bay Area remodeling experts. So it looks like it's another lead gen website that's been sent through to. But again, not a bad way of monetizing, especially if you don't want to be going through the hassle of like ringing around finding advertisers, as we mentioned in the previous video. If you're just starting out, this would be a really good way of, you know, making a little bit of money initially in order to cover your initial costs. And like this as well, would you like to send these to you for free? So yeah, select and continue. I'm guessing if you do that one, then you're automatically signed up for these. Would be my guess. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not actually going to click it because I don't want to sign up to any of these and get junk in my inbox, which is something I would be worrying about. Like, I don't want actually want any of these services, so to me that's junk. But yeah, my guess is if I click this one here, then the email is, there's some kind of automation on the back end that's automatically signing me up for all of these. But I like this. I like this kind of page. I would refer to this probably like as a squeeze page, because you kind of sandwiched it in between the survey and the newsletter, but you are getting people to sign up. I would definitely test this because it might just be adding too much friction, and then people are not interested and they don't actually make it through to the newsletter. But let's click here and see what happens next. Right, so we've now been pushed onto a recommendations page. Like I just mentioned, at this point, I'll be getting a little bit nervous that people are just getting offer, like asked to do things we haven't yet got to the newsletter. I feel like this might be getting a bit long, but you got to A/B test these things. This might be working brilliantly. So we've got another newsletter being recommended. I can't actually see that this is using an external tool, so my guess is this has just been built through Beehive. We've got Nomads for Less, become a budget savvy globetrotter. Now this one confuses me a little bit because this newsletter is targeting San Francisco, people who like elite private events, but now it's talking about budget saving globetrotters, and those two audiences don't really sound like they match. If this was like luxury travel, that might make a bit more, because it says in the sign up that it's targeting affluent areas of San Francisco. So obviously I don't know the full breakdown of the audience exactly, but there seems to be a little bit of a mismatch there. But what you can do is email address goes in there, and then you can grab the free bundle. Not sure what the free bundle is because you're signing up to a newsletter. So again, a little bit of a disconnect between the information on the page and here. And the other thing I can't figure out how to do is skip this, because if I unclip that, then the page disappears, but I can't get through to the actual newsletter because that's gone. So I'm guessing the only way I can carry on is put the details in. But if I didn't want to put the details in, I didn't want to put my email address in, then I would just be closing this. And anything after that wouldn't get seen by me. So what I'm going to do is I will put my email address in, and we'll just see what happens on the next page. Okay, so I put in the information. I think I'm still in Sparkloop. That's what I've decided. But we've got here this page, and then I'm not at the newsletter. So again, this last bit here does need a little bit of fixing. Like I said, I think I'm still on Sparkloop. Let's have a look what this says. Yeah. So I need to, we need some kind of button here that will take us to the newsletter. So what we're going to do in the next video is I'll show you their welcome email, and we'll see what we're doing there in terms of monetization. So that's our sign up flow broken up. Hope you found that useful. Hopefully you got a few ideas, and hopefully you got ideas of things you need to look for to make sure your welcome flow is working perfectly. We'll see you in the next one.